Accenture is among the leading Fortune 500 companies across the globe with revenue and profits better than most of the MNCs. It is also well known for its diverse and robust work culture. Hello everyone, this is Bhavita from Edureka, and in today's session, I will be taking you through to crack Accenture interview. So without further ado, let's get into the agenda. Firstly, we're going to start off the session by looking at some of the work culture, ethics, and facts about Accenture. And then I will take you through the interview process in Accenture, where I will be addressing as to how you can apply in Accenture as well. And then we will address the behavioral set of questions where all the questions asked in the HR interview will be addressed. And then I'll take you through the technical questions. Finally, we'll close up today's session by some bonus tips. But before we get started, make sure you're subscribed to Edureka YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to never miss an update. Also, if you're interested in online training certification, do check out the link given in the description box below. Now let's get started. Well, Accenture actually recruits many candidates every year for their several job opportunities. Basically, Accenture plc is an Irish-based multinational professional services company that specializes in IT services and consulting. Accenture is known for its diverse range of service offerings and has 5 main practice areas. Now, these include strategy management, digital technology, and there are some more like relationship management, supply chain management, business strategy, and outsourcing. Well, in reality, Accenture was established in the year 1989 and was initially known as Andersen Consulting. Accenture changed name in 2001 after breaking ties with its parent company. Now, enough about the history. We've already established that Accenture is consistently ranked as one of the top firms in the world. Let's learn something about the code of business ethics that we all need to know before entering into this huge organization. Here, firstly, we have make your conduct count, which means making your conduct count is all about fostering respect, fairness, and share ethical values and describes behavior that they expect from the people who work for them. Comply with laws. Now, basically, whether local, national, or regional, laws are being abided. Accenture people and those acting on their behalf are responsible for understanding the applicable and must work legal rules. Deliver for the clients. Now, all the employees of Accenture serve the clients regardless of role, focusing on the best interest of the clients while acting as stewards of Accenture. Protect people, information, and the business. All the employees work together to build a better, stronger company for future generations, protecting the Accenture brand, information, intellectual property, and the people. Run the business responsibly. Now, it is very important that you, if you're selected as an Accenture candidate, are agile, strive for high performance by acting as entrepreneurs and owners of the company itself. Be a good corporate citizen. Accenture support and respect human rights, foster environmental responsibility, and encourage the people's involvement in the communities where they work and live. With that being understood, it's important for us to learn and imbibe these characters of business ethics, as Accenture sticks to the code of business ethics in order for all their employees to perform at their best. With that being understood, let's move on to our next session, which is interview process in Accenture. Now here in this session, we will be addressing how to search and apply round 1, which is the assessment test, round 2, which is the technical interview round, and round 3, which is the HR interview round. Now basically, in how to search and apply, I will be taking you through as to how you can apply in Accenture website and in other websites as well. In the next step, we will be looking at the assessment test. Now, every company will have their online assessment test in order to judge the candidate and filter out number of applicants who have applied for the company. And so has the Accenture. The person who qualifies the assessment test will be qualified to the technical interview round. Here, all your technical abilities will be skilled upon. Now, if you're an experienced candidate, you will have multiple technical rounds as well, depending on your job description. The next thing you have is HR round, where you will be tested on your behavioral and personal skills. Now, all this will be addressed further in this session. Firstly, to start off with, you can apply in the Accenture career port itself. Here, all your details that you give, firstly, will be stored in their database. Now, you don't have to go upon applying again and again by giving your details number of times. Based on your job description, if you will, you can apply for multiple jobs right in the career website here. The next thing that you can apply through is via LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is a great place where all your recruiters will be looking at your profile as an open resume. How you can improve your LinkedIn, I will be addressing in the end of today's session. The next thing is Glassdoor. Glassdoor will not only help you apply for interviews, but also you can look into the different reviews by many employees and the recruiters about Accenture. Indeed is also a great place to update your resume, give your profile, and get selected by Accenture. Now, Cree also has a great source of connecting you with the employers. Now, updating your resume and your profiles on each of these websites regularly and taking up their mock tests will actually help you get into your desired company. Now, I would highly recommend you to apply on Accenture career website itself, as the probability of getting selected via third-party applications is lesser than the probability that you get selected via Accenture career website itself. Now, the next step is to address each of the interview rounds. First step is online assessment test, as I've discussed already. The next step is technical round and HR round. Basically, in online assessment test, the first round, which is a little difficult among all the other rounds, is an eliminator round. Now, here in Accenture online assessment test, the questions are designed to examine the cognitive function and ability of the appearing candidates. The round has questions based on quantitative aptitude, logical reasoning, and verbal ability. Here in this round, you will be required to answer the prescribed number of questions in the allocated time frame. The next one is technical interview round. If you clear the online test, then you will be called for technical interview. The technical round mainly focuses to evaluate the coding and problem-solving skills of the candidate. The candidate should have basic knowledge of data structures, algorithms, and other computer science-related subjects like operating system, DBMS, computer networking, etc. In order to ace this technical interview, these are some of the question topics that you will have to cover. Depending on the job role you're applying to, you can expect to be tested in respective areas. Now, if you're an experienced candidate or applying for critical job role, as I mentioned earlier, you might have to face 2 or more rounds of technical interviews. The final round will be your HR interview. Accenture, since it helps to determine a candidate's personality and other related aspects, this will be the last round. Here, the questions can be asked are of varied range, starting from your introduction, qualification, experience, hobbies, strengths and weakness, salary expectation, etc. In this round, company-related questions on Accenture can be asked too. So, be prepared with your knowledge on Accenture. While the other interview rounds at Accenture gauge your skills and accomplishments, the objective of an HR interview is to judge your personality, check your background, ability to handle the job role, and decide whether you are the right fit for the company. With that, let's move on and address how to prepare for HR interview. Here, I will be addressing all the probable HR interview questions in Accenture. The first thing is, tell me about yourself. Now, this mainly focuses on your strengths, skills, qualities, experience you have that will match your job role, as I mentioned. Now, Accenture is basically a high achieving service based company. So, the positive, enthusiastic answer that you give will prove that you can add value to their already established team. Now, make sure you don't keep repeating your sentences, which is very important while you're giving such answers. You can start off this way. I am a highly motivated and goal-oriented person who strongly believes that significant progress in an organization like Accenture can be achieved only if everyone in the team is working in the same direction. In my previous experiences, I have learned and understood the skills that perfectly fits with the job description, adding on my reviews on my performance by my previous managers showcase that I am an apt candidate who is willing to give the best to an established and high achieving organization like Accenture. Here, you have covered everything that you want to cover about company, about yourself, and how you can contribute to the company. This way, you have given brief description about yourself. The next most asked question in Accenture is, what do you think are the 3 qualities to work at Accenture? Now here, you're supposed to give 3 highlighted qualities that will make Accenture stand out after thorough research. Now you can actually refer all the qualities that I mentioned in the start of today's session. Also, along with that, do your research, know about Accenture, and give your answers accurately. Now, there is no right answer while you're answering this question, and it is always advisable to wisely show them that you're aware of Accenture's values, qualities, and that make the recruiters think that you're willing to know more about the company and invest yourself to the company. Now, a sample answer that you would probably give is, after a good research, I understand that one has to be a good team player and work with immense passion towards the work they are recruited for. Understanding and supporting the team to have respect, to treat everyone with the same attitude would help one uphold the Accenture values high and achieve the desired goals. Positive attitude and partnership with the co-workers to welcome and consider everyone's ideas to establish a happy environment is one of the main goals of Accenture, which helped them reach to a height where they are today. Here, you've briefly explained as to why Accenture has achieved what they have achieved today and where they are today. And you will also be talking about the way you will contribute to as a team in Accenture in order to make the company achieve a greater success. This way, you've spoken everything about the company and yourself, and hence all the qualities to work at Accenture has been highlighted. With that said, let's move on to the next question. So next probable question in your HR interview round will be, tell me about the time when you took risk at work. Now this is a very tricky question here. The recruiter here is looking at the way you handled your risk, and he's also looking forward to how you will be handling further in the company that you're recruited for here, Accenture. Now, it is very important that you do not start with a negative scenario or situation, and you also have to consider your strengths which worked in your favor. Now, you can consider a crucial example or a crucial situation where you needed to take an immediate action. Now, if you have not encountered any such situations in your past experience, it is important that you at least go through certain examples where you can create such a scenario that recruiter will understand that you are capable of handling any kind of risk. Now, you can also include your colleague or co-worker that basically you overpowered while achieving the same. The answer that I would suggest as an example is, while I was working on a project that had a tight deadline and an issue was to be solved by one of my co-worker, I had to do it in his absence, having known very less about that part of the project. I put in extra time even over the weekends to learn the requirement and understand to meet the deadline. Here, all the points that I just mentioned has been covered. You have used your skills to overpower someone and also told how you have used at a critical time. Also, you can say, I not only could close the project for the desired deadline, but also prevented my co-worker from facing trouble and prevented a huge loss to a company. Everything that you want to mention is quickly mentioned here, and your risk handling capacity is also clearly shown. The next question, and a very important question that definitely will be asked in no matter what kind of interview or job description you select, is why do you want to join Accenture? Now, here it is very important that you say all the goals and achievements by the Accenture company, so that this will make them understand that you have learned everything about Accenture and hence you're willing to actually dedicate yourself. Because most of the time, a person might go ahead and apply for a company without knowing nothing about the company. Here, having studied good about Accenture, it will make the recruiter think that you are invested in learning about the company's goals and achievements. Hence, it is important to mention main points, something like brand name, your work-life balance, colleagues, work environment, quality of work, and many more such points. Now, if you're a fresher, it is an added advantage. As you're new to the industry, you can also say that it is a great place to start your career and mention factors about people, fast-paced environment, continuous learning, and such things. Now, your answer could be framed as such. Accenture is a renowned brand in the market, which is a prime reason to pursue a job in this organization. There is a good work-life balance. Accenture provides favorable work environment, compels the employees to work together in learning environment. These things motivate me and encourage me to be a part of such an organization. As this is the start of my career, now this is used for a fresher, I can observe from lower level to upper level employees. Working in Accenture lets me continue to grow and learn as I'm going to be exposed to new technologies and varied business strategies on a continuous basis. With that, we come to conclusion of this session. But before that, I will give you some of the tips and tricks to crack HR interview round. Now, as I mentioned in the sample questions here, be ready with the detailed examples. As much as it is important as it is to give a small answer, it is also important to give it with an accurate example. Now, if there is no example, they will assume that you have just picked up answers from random websites to answer the interview. Now, it is very important for you to give examples in order to recruiter to think that you have experience and are speaking with such experience. The next thing is to let the answers be concise and structured and clear. Like I mentioned, it is important to keep it crisp and clear. Now, keeping it structured and clear meaning you are giving an on-point example, on-point answers to each of the question posed by the recruiter. Now, there is a certain code of ethics that is maintained in Accenture, and knowing that will always help you. So, in the start of today's session, I mentioned about the code of ethics. Now, it is important that you know all these code of ethics perfectly, because you might be cross-questioned, or even including such things in your HR interview will make the recruiter think you are invested in the company and also have done good research. The last thing, but very important thing, is to be quick and on point with your answers. Beating around the bush will never fetch you good marks anyway. So it's important that you give an on-point answer. With that, let's move on to the next important part of today's session, which is preparing for technical questions. Now here, while preparing for technical questions, it's important that you understand what are the concepts that is being covered in the technical question. Now, some of the concepts that's been covered, and it is very frequently asked in every technical question round of Accenture, is Java. Now, Java is the basic language for most of the employees. So it is important that you are thorough with Java. Linked list and associated concept, arrays, strings, OOPS concepts, again, one of the main concepts, and a number of questions will be asked throughout your technical rounds in this interview. C, C++, again, if you're not familiarized with Java, it's important at least you know about C, C++. Database concepts, no matter what is your job description, any kind of technical job you are applying to, database concept is important. Now, it is also important to learn database concept even for a non-technical job these days. So be prepared with your database concepts. Python, again, one of the fast-paced technologies. It is important that you know about Python programming language as well. With that, let's move on to our first question that I'll be addressing in the technical round. Now here in this technical round, I'll be addressing a couple of questions only. I'll be addressing a couple of questions and answers, but it is very important that you go on technical websites or even coding websites, for example, to search for number of coding examples in order to be thoroughly prepared for your technical round. Now, the first question that is most probably asked in your Accenture interview is, can we implement multiple interfaces in single Java class? Here, I've considered a Java example, as Java is the most asked concept in our Accenture technical round. Now, the answer goes like, yes, it is allowed to implement multiple interfaces in a single class. In Java, multiple inheritance is achieved by implementing multiple interfaces into the class. While implementing, each interface name is separated by using a comma operator. Now, it is important for you to give syntax. Most probably, these things will be asked in your written exam. Now, if you have a face-to-face exam, I'm very sure they will have a pen or paper or anything for you to show them the concepts. Now there, make sure you mention a syntax, and giving an example corresponding to the syntax is an added advantage. So it is important to give a written examples here. With that said, let's move on to our second question, which is most probably asked in our technical rounds. Now here, I've considered a C++ concept. The question explain about getch function in C++ program. How is it different from getche function? It's a very easy concept here, to be honest, but again, a very important concept. Now, getch is a predefined library function in C++ that is used to receive a single input character from the keyboard, and it holds the screen until it does not receive any character from standard input. This function does not require any arguments, and it is defined under 𝐶𝐼O.h. It's a header file. Now again here, I would recommend you to give an example. Now explaining this example is also a good way to approach this question. Basically, this example holds the output. Now cout contains the output that you'll have to enter through your keyboard. The only difference basically between getch and getche is that getch does not echo the character to the screen, whereas getche does echo. Now, assuming that you have understood that part of it, I will move on to much more questions that will probably be asked. Now here I have covered almost all the concepts that is being covered in the Accenture technical questions, while I recommend you that you have to go on different coding websites in order to see some more such questions. The first question that I have covered here is based on normalization of database. What is normalization in database? Which is most probable question when you are asked on database concepts. The next thing is Python. Now, classifier is an important aspect in Python. So what is classifier in Python is also been asked. XML is the next part. Write C++ programming for generating Fibonacci series. It is important to learn this part as well. Now, just like Fibonacci, there are many more concepts in C programming. They're like bubble sorts, listing, etc. So make sure you're prepared with such questions as well. What is runtime polymorphism and how it is achieved in Java? Now, as you have observed, I've covered all the concepts that I just mentioned in the start of technical questions round. So make sure you cover many such questions in order to be thoroughly prepared for technical round in the Accenture interview. Now, some of the tricks that I would give you to crack the technical question round is problem solving technique using technical skills. Now, when you're applying for a technical job description, it is very evident that you are technically sound. So it is important to be sound by problem solving technique as well. Now, having good skills but not having good ability to display those skills is something that not anyone would look after for. So it is important that you have good problem solving technique in order to crack any kind of technical skill. Always find many number of solutions for a problem. Now, the advantage of answering any technical question is that there is no one way to answer that. There are many ways to answer each of the technical questions. Now, for example, if you take a sorting problem, there is bubble sort, quick sort, merge sort, insertion sort. There are many sorting techniques to be used. This way, you select many number of solutions for a given problem, which will help you in a tricky situation. Now, the next point that I would give you as a suggestion is maybe technical round might seem as the toughest, but appropriate preparation, you can actually ace it. So, as I mentioned, going on different coding websites, which I will be addressing in the end of today's session, will actually help you ace the technical round instead of just considering it as a terror. Now, the next thing is timely decision making capacity. Now, again, the same thing comes into picture. Beating around the bush or sticking to one particular question will make you lose time. Now, time is very precious. Make sure you time your each of the technical questions so perfectly that you get opportunity to answer each of the question and you're not stuck with any one particular question. This way, you can actually crack and answer everything properly. With that, let's move on to the final part of today's session, which is the bonus tips. Now, here there are some tricks to remember. They are learn all the concepts, improve your problem solving skills, clarify your doubts, take up mock interviews, be calm and composed, ask questions. While it's quite overwhelming to see everything, I will address each of it individually in order to make you feel that this interview can be cracked easily and aced by anyone. So the first thing to address is learn all the concepts. Now, if you have to ace the technical interview round at Accenture, you have to learn the concepts such as coding, algorithm, data structures, etc. And when preparing and practicing for interview, focus on algorithm-based and system design problems. Okay, that understood. The next thing is to improve your problem-solving skills. Now, with proper practice, you will be able to solve any type of problem. This specific skill can only be perfected when you consistently solve questions every day and helps you in changing the way you understand and approach any given problem. Like I said, there are n number of ways to practice and always be prepared with number of answers. Now clarify your doubts, which means join some relevant online forums or take the help of any useful resources to clarify your doubts before the interview process. You should be well prepared to face any kind of question during the interview. Don't be panicking on each and every question that you encounter in any of the coding websites for that example. If you feel that you're not able to understand this, approach someone, take help of someone, and then be perfect with your answers. Now, taking up mock interviews is very essential. It will help you get feedback on areas that you need to improve. Also, mock preparations will boost your confidence to face real interviews. Now, it's very important to be calm and composed. Take your time to properly understand the questions given to you. Now, if you need, try to draft out a strategy before you start solving any coding questions. Finally, it's important to ask questions. This is definitely how you can show the interviewer that you are interested and insight into company and the position that you are applying for. With that said, the final round of tip is adding a good profile on LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is one-stop destination where every recruiter will look through. Your LinkedIn profile will display how good your career is. Now, preparing a good LinkedIn profile, adding relevant certifications, and making it attractive is very important. How you can actually do that is by practicing number of coding on different coding websites. You can actually take up number of tests on HackerRank. Once you crack the test, put that link or cracked application on your LinkedIn. You can also put your GitHub links on your LinkedIn in order to show them that you are well versed in any technical aspect that you are applying for. Now, the next thing is to apply for relevant certification. Now, if you're looking for a particular job, go and see for the certification on Edureka websites. We actually offer a number of websites on each of the technical concepts that you are looking for. Go there, get your certification, put it in LinkedIn, get notified. Now, this way, you can actually crack any kind of interview. I hope this session was helpful. We have reached to the end of today's session. Now, if you have any doubts regarding today's session, put down in the comment section below and we will answer it. Until we meet again next time, happy learning.
I hope you have enjoyed listening to this video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries and we will reply them at the earliest. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to Edureka channel to learn more. Happy learning!